You made it. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Sol here, and I hope you guys are all doing today because we got a lot to cover. I'll tell you what, there is so much to do and so much to talk about. Pirate, Nerf, Shaolin Rework, Conqueror's Rework, and a little bit of new events. And unfortunately, there's probably not too much information about the new hero, but all of that aside, let's just get down and dirty and started. I want to talk about all the testing ground stuff and my opinion on it as well at the end of the video. So let's just get into it. So for the testing grounds, a lot of people have heard that Kensei and Warden are going to be getting reworks, but they didn't really discuss upon it. The most important thing we can take from it is that Highlander will be in the testing grounds. They didn't go into too much detail on the specifics, but we know that Highlander is going to be in it for sure. I don't think they confirmed Kensei or Warden's going to be in it, but I'm assuming most likely they're going to be trying to buff the Vanguards, at least in some regard. I know Kensei hasn't received a buff since like 2018 or 2019. It's been the longest time, but Warden's gotten like 3 or 4 freaking buffs and a bunch of adjustments in the past. So still, let's just try to go over everything. And if I missed anything, I apologize. Please let me know down in the comments, and maybe other people will see it. So we've got the new battle pass, and these weapons are going to be shown in the background, and it is Egyptian themed. So those fans out there like myself who did love the movie The Mummy, which was probably the best childhood movie. It's a guilty pleasure, I'm not gonna lie. All the movies were amazing, one of my favorite things to watch from time to time. Unfortunately, we don't know what the new hero is. All we know is that it's going to be a male, and we're not going to have a female, unfortunately, and that's just how it's going to be for the rest of the game's life cycle. We don't know the weapon of choice either for the hero yet, but Stefan did say that we probably wouldn't be able to guess it, and I'm like, maybe I will. So in my optimism, I'm going to hope for 2-stance hero like Highlander. Okay, that's huge optimism for the interns over there, but I really think that they're gonna have at least 2 weapons to switch. Like you could use a sword or one of those handheld scythe things. Otherwise, we don't really know anything about the hero until the week before July 28th, which is when the hero releases. And I'm not gonna lie to you, kind of having this scythe looking weapon, apparently it's called like a war scythe or some sort. It kind of reminds me of Bloodborne, where Gehrman has the trick scythe weapon, so you could change it to a really long scythe or have it to be like a really curved sword. So that could be an opportunity. This is just, I'm reaching at straws here obviously, but I just want a trick weapon for Honor, or I just want Bloodborne on PC. Any of the two I'd be happy with. This new event also fixes Dominion for me at least. No more minion lane, no more freaking minion lane, because the frogs reigned and killed them all, because the frogs are turning, midpoint is cap lane, and it's basically skirmish without the boost. It's fucking amazing. I love it. I've always wanted to play skirmish more, but there's no players playing it, so they made it into an event. So that just means that they could fix Dominion and make it like that, okay? Looking at there, you can see the hero skin with Raider, and it seems like they either made him all black or they just gave him this ashy look to his skin because maybe he was in the desert and got some sunburn, or made him look cursed in some way. I think it looks kind of mediocre, but maybe he'll look better in the game. What are you guys' thoughts on that? With all of the boring stuff out of the way though, let's talk about Pirate Nerf. Okay, finally, thank God. Here we go. Dodge attacks are now slower down to 600 ms. They used to be 533, which I didn't really know about, but I think a lot of attacks are like that apparently. So her chain bash that used to grab you from miles away, that has been nerfed. The range of that grab has been nerfed significantly, so hopefully it'll be less impressive. It'll still be a really good team fighting tool, but I think the range nerf is justified on it. And probably the most important nerfs to this character is that the kick follow-up has higher recoveries by 200 ms, so you wouldn't be able to go back into a light, into unblockable, and go for the 100 to 0 ganks, because those exist and it is frequently happening all the time. The blast follow-up also feeds 30 revenge. Now it used to be only 5, so if you'd notice that you would get 100 to 0, or you'd notice that you wouldn't get revenge as often because she'd hit you 2 times, that is the reason why, because it used to be only 5 revenge, but now it's going to be 30. It's going to act like pretty much essentially a bash attack that feeds a ton of revenge, and I think this is a great change because it forces pirates to actually use their brain now. And that's essentially all of the pirate nerfs that were listed here, and they also said that there were probably a few changes that they didn't let us know, but hopefully on the testing grounds we'll see how it plays out. Maybe they'll mess around with their dodge recoveries, because I didn't know Jack Sparrow was like a ninja or something, dodging all around. But then again, he kind of is a nimble guy, nimble looking kind of guy. Alright, and moving on as quickly as possible to some serious abomination, man. I'll tell you what, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on in their heads, but holy crap, I wanna have what they're smoking, you know what I'm saying? Okay, here we go. Conqueror. Okay, I would say I'd say a lot of it has changed with some of the feedback they've gotten, and for some reason, Conqueror now has chain unblockable heavies for days. It's just, I'm assuming you can also fake those, but all of his chain heavies are unblockable now, so that's gonna be a nightmare to deal with. I don't know what's going on. I honestly don't. I wanna. Should I eat this edible? Because that's what they're doing. These interns are bringing new, innovating ideas. I'll tell you what. Holy smokes. Maybe it won't be that bad, but holy crap! There's no hero that has that. There's no hero. The power creep is real. Jang Jun's was already enough. Jang Jun essentially has unblockable chain heavies because his unblockables. Okay, so after he does a light into unblockable heavy attack, he can go into his unblockable zone and go into another unblockable chain heavy that has tons of range and a huge hitbox. This is basically gonna be the same thing. I don't think he has as much range as Jang Jun, Conqueror that is, but he still has really good defensive tools with his full block because they kept the same full block. His chain bash, however, this is the new thing. His chain bash, I think it's slower, slightly slower. It's 800 MS now, but it can be feinted. It's really, I like this idea. I think it's cool. It also makes the animation look a lot better. I don't know if it wall splats anymore since it is really slow. I'm assuming it won't because it can be feinted, unlike Nobushi's. Nobushi's is more of the ride or die type of kick, but that chain bash, I think it's a lot better because the faster one, I think the faster one was a little bit janky with animation because that had such a slow animation to begin with. So I'm really liking that change. However, the next important thing I want to talk about is that they reverted his light chain mix-ups. They kept this, they were like, oh, so people couldn't, you know, they had a hard time blocking the 500 MS light attacks. So now we're just gonna revert it back to normal and give him the same side light attacks that are like 700 MS. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what the hell? I'm assuming that's not gonna be a permanent, you know what? I'm not gonna assume anything because this is redonkulous. I'll tell you what, you can't have 700 or 600 MS lights anymore, especially chain lights. You can't do that. It doesn't make any sense. That makes the hero feel very clunky. It feels very janky. You can't do that. Ubisoft, come on, interns, you guys listen to me? Listen to this video. I'll tell you one thing, go back to the same lights. It's fine, it's not a big deal once everybody moves to PS5. And also, by the way, Ubisoft, the company, doesn't care about you. They care about money, baby. They always have. Now the zone is still the same for God knows why. I don't think there's anybody that wants a 600 MS zone that has no properties of hyper armor, superior block, which has just been thrown out the window, which I'm okay with, and I know a lot of people aren't because it's unique to Conqueror, but it was still unhealthy in that regard. They should just speed it up to 500 MS. I don't know how many times I gotta tell people this. Speed it to 500 MS. There's no reason to not have it at 500 MS. It's completely reactable, and it's a good opener besides using the same bash mix-up. The zone should not stay this way. I don't know how hard it is to change it to 600 MS. It's like just 100 MS change. Is it just not possible to go into the code and maybe just move that number down by 100? That'd be great. Thank you, Ubisoft interns. I greatly appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And another important thing that they decided to add back is that they gave him the original full block animation back, and I'm so happy that they decided to do this because one, it looks way better. But here's the kicker, guys. They made it feel like Aramusha, where now you get two different attacks, the original one and the one where he spins around, hits everybody. That does less damage, but the original one does more damage and can execute. So this is really beneficial for him. It makes him basically a copy-paste Aramusha, but I think Conqueror might be a little bit better than Aramusha now. I'm not sure, because this is kind of crazy times we live in, because everybody is getting really, really strong in an exponential amount of way, and if this isn't power creep, I don't know what is. So that's essentially all of the changes for Conqueror, and we're going to be able to test them in the testing grounds essentially next week, and I'm hoping that it's not going to be as bad as it seems, but that unblockable chain heavy finishers for days is really worrying me, and especially the light attacks, the light chains, just revert it back to the normal, the one that you had before, okay? Stop fixing things that aren't broken, okay? That'd be great. I honestly don't know what to say about the unblockable chain heavy mix-ups for days. I don't know where they got this idea from. Unblockables in general, especially if you play in 4v4 at a medium or even high tier level, they're just there for days. You get hit by everything externally from target swaps, and that's just not fun. It's just not fun. You know, it's fun to do because you get free damage in because your opponent can't block. They have to like dodge roll away or just dodge away and not be in a bad position. But come on, I don't know how to solve this. I really don't. If you guys have better ways to, you know, incorporate a mix-up that gives him chain heavy finishers that is, you know, reliable. Maybe just after the unblockable, you can throw a light attack or another heavy attack that's normal, and then the next heavy attack can be unblockable, you know, go back and forth, so it's not so oppressive, because he already has really good dodge attacks. He already has really good defensive capabilities with his full block, cancel after every single attack, and also going after a bash attack, going to full block again. Really good defensive utility and good offensive utility with his bash in general. Also, another defensive utility is dodging into the attack and going for the bash, because he has superior block on his dodges. So this makes him a tank and just a monster to fight, I can tell you that much. I know how to play Conqueror, and a good Conqueror is just the most annoying, egregious thing, because he still keeps all of his defensive utilities when you didn't have to use his zone attack. The zone attack was great, but his best defensive utility was his dodges, in my opinion. But yeah, you guys gotta let me know what other things they can do to Conqueror to fix him or nerf him, because I think he's a little bit too over the top right now. So let me know your thoughts down below. Now moving on to Shaolin, I think they did him right. I'll tell you what, they did him right, except for a few things that I still have gripes about, but overall I'm really happy about this. So let's just get down to the biggest part. Shaolin has a freaking kick now, and this kick looks amazing. Essentially, it's his running kick, and this, oh my god, the animation looks so sublime. Compare it to Orochi's kick. Orochi's kick looks like Hollywood did the Kung Fu action series, where they just like cut from different camera angles 20 different times. You have no idea what the hell's going on, and you can see the strings when people fly and stuff. I don't understand why it looks so bad compared to Shaolin's kick, where he's an actual Kung Fu master. Like, what the fudge? Fix Orochi's kick. This is the main reason I don't use Orochi, by the way, is because the kick looks so bad. But Shaolin, I'm going to be using him a shit ton. I'll tell you what, that kick looks so damn good. It makes him more viable when it comes to openers, and he doesn't just have to rely on his top light and being, you know, essentially a parry gun or a read gun. But then again, it does increase his skill floor, and the skill curve is also going to be increased too, so I'm happy about it overall, and I think more people will use Shaolin, and that's the main thing. I want people to enjoy this hero because he really is fun. But essentially, Shaolin has basically stayed the same with a few changes. The main change is that after a missed kick or a whiffed kick, he's able to do a light attack out of it now, so that increases his viability with his kick mix-up and his undodgeable mix-up. One small thing that they've also added was that they changed the damage values of his side lights again. So, I mean, now it does a little bit more damage, so you can get into your cheese stance afterwards, which is nice. But the important thing that I want to talk about is his zone attack is still complete garbage. Unless they fix the hitboxes in certain game modes or target swapping on the hitboxes and stuff like that, it's still incredibly slow, and it's not a viable mix-up, and you can't get into cheese stance after that, or an unblockable or undodgeable or anything like that. If they made the last attack like an unblockable or something, I think that'd be fine for it being so freaking slow, because it reminds me of Highlander Zone, and honestly, I do get hit by Highlander Zone from time to time, so it could be useful against a player like me who is playing with their monitor off and also high all the time, but I don't know, man. So at the end of the day, Shaolin has just, you know, pretty much skyrocketed up to, I would say, high A tier at least, because having that opener kick, having that chain bash mix up with the undodgeable mix up and the sweep mix up as well, enhanced top light, this is just incredible for him. Also, his dodge attacks also chain into cheese stance, which is also a huge bonus to his flow. He feels like a really strong hero. I'm gonna put him up in like high A tier, maybe even like low S minus tier. I don't know, high A tier for sure. He's going to be incredibly powerful. Same thing with Conqueror if they keep this rework in general, because chain pressure and offense is everything, and also having all the defensive options like Aramusha makes him an S tier for sure in Dominion and Duel. So these heroes are going to be a menace to deal with. But what can I say? Overall, I'm happy we're getting changes, and sometimes I feel like they move a little bit too slow, but they've got like no staff there, just a bunch of interns working there for free and all of that good stuff. I know I make that joke, but you know, I'm sure there's hardworking developers out there with some interns assisting them on all of their endeavors. So what do you guys think? Are you guys excited for the new hero or in Highlander Rework? I'm excited on what the heck they're going to do to that guy, because if they tweak him and just give him like undodgeables and stuff, oh my god, or chain bash. Oh yeah, here he has a chain bash, but they're going to mess him up somehow, okay? He just needs like a few tweaks, a rule catcher or something like that. That's way more reliable. As for the Kensei and Warden rework, I don't know what's going to happen there. The new hero, we haven't heard anything about. The new skin, it's kind of meh, but the reworks for Conqueror and Shaolin, I think these are really good changes. Conqueror might need a little bit of nerf or a little bit of tuning, I would say, but overall I'm kind of excited for Honor still. And be sure to check out the other videos with Warden, Peacekeeper, Warlord, and all of that good stuff. The box is going to bed now. Bye bye. See you later.